My name's Jeff Makarevich, and welcome to Wine and Dine with Jeff, where I'll make a healthy dinner from start to finish and pair it with wines from around the world. Let's fill up that glass.
Hi, my name's Jeff Makarevich, and welcome to Wine and Dine with Jeff. Today I'm excited because we are driving all the way to New Orleans, and we are making dirty rice, an awesome Cajun dish that you will fall in love with. And I'm pairing it with this Syrah from Carhartt. Ooh, it'll blow your socks off, guaranteed. Let's get started here. I have some ground beef. You could use ground beef, combination of brisket, ground beef. I'm using a 90-10. You could use an 80-20, whatever you'd like. And I'm pairing it with some chicken livers here. Let's get some of these, and I'm on these chicken livers. I cut these up already. And if you are not a fan of chicken livers, if you're already turned off and I'm running my knife through these to show you, I want to chop these up because when they are in the pan frying with the ground beef, they tend to be a little more difficult to separate. So I find it much easier to do this first instead of trying to mash them up afterwards. But if you're not a fan of chicken livers, you can replace that with some sausage or just more ground beef, whatever you want. And let's get our burner on. We are working in a cast iron pan right here. Let's let that heat up and let's throw our beef and livers in. Our cast iron is hot and it's seasoned and ready to go. And when I mean seasoned and ready to go, I always wipe it down with a little bit of coconut oil. You could use whatever oil that you prefer. I just like to have some in there for storage purposes and so many other things, so it's always ready to go. Let's add our ground beef right to that. And before we add in our chicken livers, we're going to let the ground beef render out some of its fat. So we will let this go for just a few minutes until it renders out some fat here. And then we'll add in our chicken livers. It's only been 2 minutes and it's already rendered out enough fat. So let's add in our chicken livers right now. And if you're not using chicken livers, like I said, sausage would be a great idea. You could add more beef, whatever you would like. Let me grab this. Let's stir. And tip, this cast iron starts to get pretty hot. So if you're grabbing the handle, you want to have some sort of hot pad. Why not? Let's go zebra style today. Add a little style to our New Orleans Cajun dish today. We want to add in some salt and pepper too while this is going on. So this is going to brown up. This is going to take about 8 minutes. We want a very good brown. We're talking a pretty good dark brown we want on this meat. So we're going to let this go on a medium-high heat for about, like I say, about 8 minutes until it gets nice and brown and it releases all of its juices and it gets nice and golden brown. That is what we are wanting for this one. So I will bring you right back in 8 minutes so we can see what it looks like. Okay, we are done, and I want to show you why we're using a cast iron here. So take a look. See all this stuck on brown at the bottom here when I move this meat? That is what's going to make the sauce amazing. So let's get this out of the pan and get working on our sauce. Now we have the meat out of the pan. You see the pan is still screaming hot. Now what we're going to do is make a roux. So we're going to add oil to the bottom of the pan here. And when you're making a roux, you always add equal amounts oil and flour. I use the vegetable oil. You could use whatever your oil that you like that has a high smoke point that you have on hand. And the flour is going in. Now, what's going to happen right now, let me grab my trusty zebra towel here so I don't burn my hand, is we want to scrape the bottom of the pan here. This is going to create a roux, and we're going to let this go on a medium heat, not a medium high, not a low, on a medium heat, and scrape the bottom of the pan. So we're scraping all those delicious stuck on brown bits, right? And we're going to cook this for a minimum of 8 minutes. And it's going to be, let me turn this up a little bit. It is going to be a chocolate brown color. So we are going to turn this roux right now into a chocolate brown. It's going to have so much flavor. And then we're going to add our other goodies. So let me just keep working here, and I'll bring you back to show you what it looks like. Now take a look. After 8 minutes, this is what it looks like. Chocolate brown. You have so much flavor going on in that roux. And now what we're going to add to it is almost a trinity of vegetables, which is they're very known for in Cajun and Creole cooking, which is bell pepper, onion, and celery. We are going to put in shallot and green bell pepper. Now, as soon as you put this in, it will seize up. So that is normal. Don't worry about that. So it will seize up on you and get very, very thick. This is what is supposed to happen, so do not worry about that. Now what we're going to do, we're just going to cook these vegetables out just for 2 minutes. That's all. Because once we add in our beef broth, it's still going to simmer for another 10 minutes. So let's just cook out these vegetables for just 2 minutes. That's all. And I'll bring you right back. Our vegetables have cooked out. Now let's add some beef stock. I want something rich. Bone broth, beef stock, whatever you have. I currently didn't have any homemade frozen in the freezer, and I didn't have time. So I do love this brand. I want to show you the brand. It's called Bonafide. It's found in the frozen section. It is a flavor personified. Really good if you're not making your own beef broth or bone broth. So let's add this right on in right now, and let's stir everything together here. And obviously with all the roux and the flour and everything, it will start to thicken up. Now we are going to simmer this for a good 6 to 7 minutes. And now to add even more flavor to this roux stock, that it's just amazing, we're going to be adding some spices. We have here, we have paprika, cumin, cayenne, and fresh cracked pepper. So all those are going in. Now, it's the perfect amount of spice, I'm telling you. This has gone through my test kitchen so many times. It's not overly spicy. It's just the perfect amount of heat. And we will let this simmer, like I said. And so many people have so many different varieties of this recipe. There's so many different things you can do with dirty rice. But I've tried this so many times and created so many different recipes. This is my favorite, hands down. So we will let that simmer now and keep stirring for the next 6 to 8 minutes. It's been 7 minutes, and take a look at this thick, rich sauce. This is amazing. Now this is a good time for you. I'm going to add in the meat back into the sauce now. But this would be before you add the meat back in, for you to taste the sauce to see if it needs a little more salt. It all depends on if you're making your own stock or not. So you want to fold this back in. But I will warn you, if you taste the sauce on its own, It will have a nice little kick to it, but you got to remember you're mixing that with 3 cups of cooked rice. 1 cup of basmati rice, which gives you 3 cups of cooked rice. Just cook it with the package instructions, except I like to use stock. So let me get this. I like to use stock in mine because it flavors the rice so much better than just water. Use beef stock if you'd like to keep it along with the lines with everything else. If you don't have that, chicken stock is perfectly fine too. It just gives the rice a much, much better taste to it. You can top this. I love to top it with a little bit of tops of the green scallions. But this is ready to eat. This is ready to get plated up and eat. I cannot wait to dig into this one. I am super excited. I almost forgot about the wine. Can you believe it? This is Carhartt Winery. It's up in Santa Ynez Valley. Beautiful winery. I was there before wine tasting. This is their Syrah. That is just amazing, out of this world. Are you ready for this? I'm getting chocolate covered cherries. Who doesn't love chocolate covered cherries, right? Raspberry, dark cherries, a little bit of smoke from the toasted oak that it sat in and aged in. Wow, this is definitely amazing. The fruit will just pair up perfectly with everything going on in this dirty rice. You'll love it. I decided to leave the dirty rice right in its cast iron. It just looked too nice there. But before I try, I would first like to thank all my subscribers. But if you're not yet a subscriber, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my recipes. And don't forget to like and share and ring that bell, because I have a new recipe every Tuesday. But I can't wait any longer. I am definitely trying this dirty rice. Here we go. Here we go. Big mouth. Wow. So many layers of flavor, nice little kick and spice and smokiness. Wow, this is amazing. I can't wait for you to try my dirty rice. Thanks for stopping by Wine and Dine with Jeff, and we'll see you next week.